I would probably volunteer somewhere to start meeting some new people because those people have a different heart. Those people are people that not only think of themselves, but they think of other people.
Welcome to MLM Nation, a podcast of leaders, by leaders, for leaders, hosted by Simon Chan. He's built a team of over 200,000 and is now a full-time MLM coach and trainer. So if you're ready to level up your business, join us now. Let's do this.
MLM Nation, this is Simon Chan. I'm fired up to bring our special guest today, Jefferson Santos. Hey, Jefferson, are you ready to make it happen?
I'm ready, brother. Let's go.
Jefferson Santos has over 27 years of network marketing experience. He got started in network marketing at 20 years old, and it took him 9 years to finally become successful. Jefferson credits his personal development, his faith, and his beliefs that kept him going even though he wasn't making any money. Today, he's one of the top leaders worldwide, has earned over 8 figures in lifetime commissions, and is also an international best-selling author. So Jefferson, welcome to MLM Nation. I've given everyone a brief intro, but please take us more into your background and how did you discover network marketing?
For sure, Simon. So thanks for having me on the podcast here. It's an honor always, and all the service and just contribution you've done to the industry has been amazing. So yeah, I've been in industry for 27 years, and what's interesting is, my mother actually told me about network marketing. So just a kind of quick backstory is I was playing football at the Naval Academy, and what's interesting is the year I left the Naval Academy, they won a bowl game. So I missed the championship. Like I didn't get the ring, and then I transferred to another university called TCU, Texas Christian University. And in between that transition, my mother invited me to this doctor's house, and, big old house, he's drawing circles on a whiteboard. I'm thinking it's football. So I'm thinking, I'm getting all excited. I'm thinking that teamwork, all this stuff. And so I just fell in love with it. I didn't have any skepticism in the beginning, at all about network marketing. I thought it was team, which it is. And I was like, hey, I'm not the smartest kid on the block or the fastest kid on the team or the strongest kid on the team, but if I can team up with other people, then we can make it happen. So that was my mindset when I heard about it. But the crazy thing is just because you have a lot of desire, that's part of the equation. But I had to get my skill up and my leadership skills up and all that kind of stuff, because my first almost 9 years in the industry, I sponsored, I think, 3 people in my first 2 years, never made 6 figures until my 9th year in the industry. But, heck, those are the years that you call the character building years, right? The years that you don't get what you want, you're building the root system. So that's kind of what it was. And it's been amazing ever since.
So I know in the intro I talked about your faith, your personal development and beliefs. What kept you going? Because most people are 20 years old, they're not making much money. They're going back to doing, being a college kid. Why did you stay?
Yeah, because here's what I did. Like when I heard about events and I heard about trading events, for me, once again, playing sports, when a coach tells you to show up for practice, you're early. Okay, right? And because if you don't go to practice, you're not going to play in the game, or you're not going to get good enough to play in the game, right? So when my upline told me about events, I went. Now I didn't have a team yet, but I went anyway because that's what I was told to do. So when I would get there, check this out, I would literally sprint to the front of the room because I expected some sort of a 1 or 2 seats available on the second or front row because people come in groups. There's always like an extra seat in there. So I just bolted up there and I just sat down with my notepad. And it was just a one-on-one training with me and the person that was on the stage. And it was those stories that went across the stage of people that were going before me, 2 months, 2 years, 2 decades ahead of me, that they talked about their stories. And so that was the oxygen that got me through. So my belief and my faith carried me until my skill could catch up.
Why did you sit in the front of the room? Did someone tell you to do that? Because a lot of times people they feel like, oh, I'm not successful yet, let me hide in the back a little bit. Why did you just go to the front?
Well, they told me to. They told me to go to the front. I know that, in football, you can't see the drill. If you're behind, you got to be in front, seeing what people are doing with the coach. Like I just needed that. Plus, for me, I had to study extra when I was in school. I had to get to school early. I did extra workouts in the weight room because I was always one of those kids where I needed to do extra work to kind of keep up. And so I guess that, that habit was a good habit to have, because that's what I did. Because, if you sit in the middle of the back, nothing wrong with it. You're still in the room. That's good. However, you do get distracted by the other people talking, or you can't really feel that the energy is right up front.
So what was the turning point? You said you struggled for a while. What was the turning point? And you sponsored like 2 people, 3 people in the first couple of years, right?
Yeah.
What was the aha moment and things started happening for you?
So this was interesting. I was at a seminar up in New York. It was a blizzard outside. And in this specific seminar, it was a lady who's one of my mentors. And she was Saturday night, instead of people going out, getting drunk and all this stuff, she did like a optional, worship service, like kind of, preaching service, right? You give us a sermon. And so I was like, okay. So she basically kind of sold it. She's like, hey, if you're living in fear, if you want to get better, if you want this, and this, you need to be there tonight. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I go, and everybody's there, and it was, they were playing music and stuff. And it was a faith-based type sermon thing, right? And to me, as a Christian, I thought, I thought going to Fellowship of Christian Athletes and getting free donuts in the morning, or going to Young Life, was my thing at Christianity, but that wasn't it. It was at this seminar. Here's what happened. Okay. She started talking about, what we're called to do. She started talking about what we're made for, meeting human beings, us, right? And she was talking about a book called God at Work. And by the way, I'm not trying to shove any religious stuff or anything, down anybody's throat, but I just want you to hear kind of what turned the corner for me. Is this book talked about how there's certain people that are anointed to be priests, and certain people anointed to be kings in the marketplace. And if you're a woman, hey, a queen in the marketplace, right? And so it was talking about these successful business people that were made millions of dollars, billions of dollars, and then they thought they were at the end of their ropes. They'd go try to become a preacher or a pastor or something, and doors would close. Go back to business, they would flourish. So the key thing is I wasn't going to be a pastor. So maybe God planted this desire in me to want to be successful because I'm a king in the marketplace. So that was like my Optimus Prime moment. That was my transformational moment, because I think I was afraid of success. I was like, why do I want to be successful? I mean, my mother, when she was raising my sister and I, she had 3 jobs. We didn't really have a lot. Yes, I was hungry. I didn't know what success was, but why did God put that in my heart? And the other key thing was, she talked about the top influencers in the world. And she was talking about the church isn't even top 20 anymore. It's business people that make a lot of money and celebrities. And so she goes, look, your job is to learn these skills to go make a lot of money so you can be of influence in the world. Because when good people make money, good things happen. When bad people make money, bad things happen. So right there, boom. So it was that whole point of, okay, so maybe I am anointed to be a king in the marketplace. And when I go out there, that's my job, to become successful, to go influence and do good things. Now, I'm sitting here getting the message, but I'm like, am I okay? So I call my 3 teammates that weren't there with me. I call them up on the phone and kind of tell them, and they go, you sound different. Like, your come from is different. And I think that's the reason why I wasn't successful my first 8 or 9 years in network marketing, because it was me centered. I was focused on, using people, not loving money. Should have been the other way around. Should have been loving people and using money. And so my come from changed. If you were, think of another word, my vibration or my frequency changed, right? And so then people started listening to what I had to say. They started following me, and things like that. And so I just became that person. I know it's kind of like cliche, but it took me 9 years to be a, 10-year overnight success, so to speak, right?
You said that you maybe had fear of success. What do you mean by fear of success? So give us some examples. Because I think most people, including myself, when I first started, I had more fear of success than fear of failure.
Yeah, because like when you're successful, oh, now what? Okay, well, what if I fail again? What if I'm successful and then I fail? What if now I've got more responsibility? am I ready for that? Am I going to do stupid things with the money? Am I going to go do drugs and do all this crazy stuff? Like, I think that maybe I wasn't prepared yet to make big money yet. God was preparing me, or and for those of you that are listening right now, the universe is preparing you. So if you're frustrated right now with where you're at, okay, there's ways to look at it. It's perspective, right? So look at it as a way that the universe or your creator is preparing you for such a time as this, is preparing you for when you are going to be ready, when those leaders do come in your path, come across your path, for you to bring them on the team. And so here's the thing, like, it took me a while. Now, back to your main question was, what kept you going? It was the events. It was the stories. That was the umbilical cord and the oxygen to keep me alive for the next 30, 60, 90 days to get to the next event where I can get around the campfire. Because, events, whether it's, if your company's still doing Zooms, which we all do that now, obviously, but, those physical events, make sure you go to those, because that's where the campfire is. You take a hot coal from a campfire and stick them in the corner of the forest away from the campfire. It is going to get cold and burn out. And that's what happens to your teammates that don't make it to the event. That's what happens to you. Even if you're making 6 or 7 figures, you get burnt out if you're not around the campfire. So we all got to catch each other on fire again every once in a while, right?
If you were to go back, you've been in the profession for 27 years. So the first 9 years you struggled, you had your aha moment. Say, knowing what you know now, what advice would you give yourself? The 17-year experience, Jefferson. So 10 years ago, what do you know? What do you know now? I should make the question 2 ways. What do you know now that you wish you knew when you were 20 years younger? And the second part is, what do you know now that you wish you knew 10 years ago?
Yeah. I think I might answer it differently. And let me just get around, kind of fill it all in. Would I wish for something different? Would I wish for new information? I mean, maybe that's what I had to go through to get where I'm at today, right? It's kind of like, somebody asked you, hey, think of your worst experience you had in your life, or maybe one of your worst experiences. And the question is, would you erase it? And most people, almost everybody would say no, because it's made them who they are today, right? And so for me, it's, maybe in those times where I wanted to quit, if I would have, if my upline had telepathic, thoughts and would call me and pump me up, but I didn't quit. Like I quit in my head. There were several days where I quit in my head, but the next day I woke up and I went after it again. Why? Because I was reading the books. I was going to the events. And, I think when we throw our heart over the bar and we do get emotionally involved, because, they say it's business, business, not emotions. Well, yeah, it is. Because your team is like your family. Like if you make their goals your goals. And so, yeah, I do get frustrated. It hurts when you see someone on the team that the trajectory they're going on, and then they miss like an event, or they miss something, and then they miss another one. And all of a sudden you see them just far off in left field, and then now they're gone. Right. And so once again, back to what I wish I knew, it's, of course, that I would have the life that I have today, keep the hope, keep the hope alive, put one foot in front of the other. That's pretty much it, man, because I don't know if I would be standing here today if, maybe I knew too much, because, the whole thing of, the curse of knowledge, if you know too much, you get like, oh yeah, I don't have to go to that event. I don't have to go to that event. The hunger goes down, and then maybe you didn't get the nugget that you needed to. Right. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's really interesting when you have these conversations because I've had the same conversations too. It's crazy. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I would erase that.
Well, you talk about downline falling off. How do you handle that? I think that's something that the 2 biggest rejections, right? I think the disappointments. Number one, people are not interested, they don't join, or you finally get someone and then they don't do anything and they quit. What suggestions do you have?
So a couple things. Yeah. When I get somebody started, it's like I look at them I got 2 eyes. So one eye is, I believe in everyone. The other eye is I don't count on anyone. Right. I believe in one eye, their days are numbered on the other. And it's just kind of a healthy discernment that I've just learned. I wish everybody would just come in and sponsor a gazillion people, but it doesn't happen. And it's because of their psychology. It's either what happened in their past, they're afraid of success, or they don't have the courage to step up, or maybe somebody that's successful in some other part of their life. But when they come to network marketing, they have to start over, so to speak, at the bottom of the totem pole, and their ego won't let them, I don't know, maybe have some bad days. It's interesting, right? Now, how I get someone started to try to prevent that as best as possible is within the first 24 hours, I'm asking my new person, hey, listen, what are the top 10 things that this financial vehicle can help you what are those top 10 things? Is it you want to go to the top 100 spas in the world? You want to retire your parents? You want to build an orphanage? What are these things that are motivating you that this business can help you achieve? And I tell them, I go, here's why, because 6 days, 6 months, 6 weeks from now, you're going to hit a wall. You're not going to have a good day. Your best friend's going to quit. You're going to be in a fetal position in bed. So how do you want me to react to that? So if I know what you want, then I can help you go get it. Because there's two things. There's motivation and manipulation. Here's the thing. Manipulation, the definition of manipulation is getting you to do something that benefits me. Motivation is getting you to do something that benefits you. So by me knowing what you want, I'm by default motivating you. So if I don't know what you want, I'm by default manipulating you. So the thing is that a lot of uplines, they're like, yeah, we gotta hit this promotion. We gotta do this. We gotta do that. We gotta make this money. And they haven't connected the dots with their new person of why they want the money, right? We all want what the money gets us, right? The capacity to do whatever. It's not the paper and the ink that we really want. It's the capacity of what the money gets for us, right? And so the key thing is as an upline, as a sponsor, is to find that out. Now, here's the thing. We've all heard this, find the why that makes you cry. Sometimes people don't know that. That's kind of too big of a thought sometimes for some people. So just get them a top 10 list of things. I don't even care if it's all materialistic. We know that everybody joins as a 98%er, meaning 98% of the population is going to be dead or dead broke by the age of 65, depending on their friends or family or the government for financial assistance. 2% of the population is going to be financially free. So we're all 98%ers when we first are born, when we first start the business. And so we have to understand that what motivates. If a Ferrari motivates them, great, put that down the list. If opening a school motivates them, put that down the list. I don't judge any of that, but all I'm going to do is let them know you've got somebody in your corner. I'm going to help you achieve these things. Let's get after it. Because when they do hit that wall, because they will, I pull that list out and I remind them of what they told me out of their mouth, which is motivation. So that's the big thing.
That's good. I like you said, people say find the why, because I was thinking back when I first started, most people don't know what the why is, especially if you're young, right? A lot of times the common answer is like the kids, the family. But if you're young, like 20 something, you're just living day to day and having.
Dude, you just want to get the bills paid. You want to go to some cool clubs. You want some cool clothes. Like, okay, that's cool, man. Like, all right, what pair of Jordans or what pair of Louboutins or what are you like, right? It's like, get them to freaking, tell you what they want. And some people, they hear leaders that have been in for a long time, make a lot of money. And those leaders say like other things. And so your why changes as you grow. Like, I'm a father now and a husband. I've got 2 kids that are 9 and 11. So my why is definitely different. It is definitely for my family. But before my family, it wasn't my family. It was me. It was I want freedom, right? I want to be able to do when I want, whomever I want, all that stuff, right? That was more of a freedom thing. That's what I really valued, to be able to sleep in and all that stuff. Even though I don't really sleep in, I like to get up and work out when I'm done. When I to start the day, but. It's going to change for people.
Talking about those character building moments, what was your worst moment in network marketing, to the point that you maybe thought about quitting, but you didn't, and that's why you are the leader you are today?
What's interesting is when I think about that, because I was thinking about that the other day, is it's actually happened pretty recent, because I was part of I had the largest team, one of the largest teams in the world. I had 2.87 million people in my team. The main product was a travel product. We're in 50 plus countries, and obviously the pandemic happened, right? And so everything went down. Like, everything went down. I went going from making over $200,000 a month to zero. And there's some really dark days. And I was like, maybe you can bleep this out. I'm like, this is bullshit, man. Like, what the, I spend my entire life, right? I build this thing up for some random event. Like, anyways, it's a whole nother process, but it's like, it was nuts, man. And so literally I was going to, there was part of me that was going to cash the chips in. And it was tough, but you know what? I had a team and I had people that I was leading. And so immediately, it's like, okay, snap out of it. You've got people that you're leading, that they need a leader. And people follow people with certainty, especially in a pandemic and post-pandemic. People are looking for leadership. People are looking for people that are certain about their future and where they're going. Because most people don't know where the heck they're going. They just listen to the person that sounds more sure about themselves, even though that person probably doesn't even know where they're going, but they're going that way. So, okay, I'll just follow them. And that's what's happening. And so, but if you're a person that you know where you're going and you know what you have is a solid opportunity and you feel good about it, you need to shout from the mountaintops, because people are looking for leadership. They need good leaders, people that will take them to the promised land.
Definitely. I think, I like what you said. No one really knows, aside from God, no one really knows where we're going. Right? It's our faith and belief.
Yeah.
That keeps us going. What is your I know you're super consistent. What's your normal routine like now that you've made it? You're such a big time. What's your routine like?
Yeah, I mean, it's different every day because I like variety. There's days where I might have 3 Zooms in a day. There's days where I've got 5 or 6 Zooms. There's days I got a couple. I got one phone call and a bunch of text messages and a bunch of chats I'm doing, right? So they're all different. But when I was rebuilding as of recently, it was everything. It was on the front burner. It was having a talk with my wife and kids, knowing that dad's going to be, getting after it. I'm going to be working 14-hour days because I wanted to, and because there's a certain window of time you get the seed in the ground, right? And so that's what I was doing. And so I was calling up leaders. I was calling up people, relationships that I've known for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And what the crazy part about it is, because of the speed about what I was operating and the certainty I was operating, I was able to recruit a lot of people because I was in that blitz mentality mode, right? Matter of fact, I still got a bunch of episodes up on YouTube at Blitz Mentality. Just look up Blitz Mentality. It was kind of like a take on a Gary Vee stuff back when he first started doing the daily V's, just kind of micing me up. And what does a leader do on a day-to-day basis? When you're circling everybody up at an event, what are you saying? What are you saying before the event, during the event, after the event, all this stuff? That's what I did. We filmed it all. It's all over there. So it's all mic'd up and stuff. And so, yeah, it's interesting, right? And I'm glad that I made it through there, because I had major self-doubts. I was on the top and I fell all the way to the bottom, and I had no control other than my faith, and other than that, when I take my step forward, it's God ordained, and something's going to happen. I just got to take the step. And that's what happened.
Yeah, I like what you said about the speed, because money definitely likes speed. Money does not like slow.
That's right. Yeah, it's not like rushed. It's not like frenetic. It's momentum, right? We get that momentum going, and if success loves that momentum. Momentum makes you look better than you really are. Lack of momentum makes you look worse than you really are, right? And so it's that cadence and that rhythm. And people, we've all heard before, dogs don't bark at parked cars, right? They chase a car. The funny part is, what the hell are they going to do with the car when they get it? It's just funny.
Yeah, and one of my favorite quotes from John Wooden was like, talk about the frenetic pace, is like, he always talked about, be quick, but don't hurry. Be quick, but don't hurry.
Yeah, I mean, because people you're attracting, here's the thing, people want to be around somebody that has that right energy too. And if you're all frenetic and stuff, because you want to, I get wanting something, but you want to be like a duck on water, right? It's smooth on the top, but your feet are going like crazy underneath. And that's what a leader does. We know how to be cooler heads prevail, right? No matter what's going on, because you got to have a cooler head, or else, if you let it get to your head, your blood boils and then your IQ goes down.
Definitely. Hey, you've been amazing, Jefferson. Awesome. As we wrap up the show, a couple quick questions to pick your brain, and these can be short one-liners. Ready?
Cool. Yeah.
What is one of your favorite success quotes that motivates you?
Wealth building is a team sport.
What's one habit that's helped you become successful?
Staying consistent.
What's the best piece of advice you ever received?
The worst thing about success is a little bit.
What come again?
The worst thing about success is a little bit.
Wow, that's good. The worst thing about success is a little bit. I gotta think about that. That's good. What is your favorite prospecting tool you use? Say you have a qualified prospect. You send them a video, a personal video, a company video, or a voice message, or a Zoom, or you meet them face to face. What do you like to use?
Well, it depends, but a voice note is always more personal than a text.
What's your favorite app on your phone that's not a social media app?
Boards.
Yeah, sports app. What are 2-3 books that you could recommend?
There's a lot, but you know what? Let's come down to The Magic of Thinking Big. I think that's from David Schwartz. We've got Your First Year in Network Marketing by Mark Yarnall. That's an amazing book still. It's timeless. As of recent, in the last few years, Atomic Habits is big. And any like the daily Stoic stuff from what's his name? The guy that ego is the enemy. Yeah, Ryan Holiday. His stuff is great. Obviously, John C. Maxwell is great. There's a lot of great things out there. Yeah.
And here's the last question, the $1 million question. You ready?
Yeah.
Imagine you had to start all over again and you knew no one. You didn't know your wife. You didn't know your kids. Your contact list was 0. But you had all your current knowledge, skills, and wisdom. What's the first thing you do or the first place you go to build a network marketing business from scratch?
A great question. I would probably volunteer somewhere to start meeting some new people. So some place where there's people, whether I'm hanging out at Starbucks, working at Starbucks, or I'm going to go volunteer somewhere and start meeting some of the right people.
Why volunteer?
Because those people have a different heart. Those people are people that not only think of themselves, but they think of other people.
As we wrap up, any last words or advice? And then what's the best way listeners can connect with you, Jefferson?
Sure. A little bit of advice here. Just last bit, and great questions that, all on the whole podcast, by the way, here's the thing is, knowledge when you need it. Okay. Well, let me repeat this again. Direction when you need it is more important than knowledge. Here's what I mean by that. We can listen to all these podcasts. We can read all the books. We can go to all the trainings, but it's important to be connected to the people that are moving, that are going places, to get that direction in the middle of the game. You got to call a timeout, get that direction, and then you'll be more effective, because in the heat of the battle or the heat of the game, it's important to get that direction. All right. And so, but continue to put the good stuff in your mind, make a commitment to be here a year from now. Whatever you're doing, whatever you're working, it's noble. You're helping people. You're building a business. It's not easy, but it's simple. All right. And so just keep moving forward. So you can get in contact with me going to connectwithjefferson.com. You can find all my social media handles right there. Go to connectwithjefferson.com. And then you can also check out Blitz Mentality on YouTube.
ML Nation, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And today, you've been hanging out with Jefferson Santos. So keep up the momentum and go to mlnation.com, click on the podcast tab, and the show notes, all the nuggets of wisdom that Jefferson shared, including his website, his social media profiles will be right there. Definitely follow him and check him out and do what he is doing, because he is making things happen. Hey, in order to be successful in life, in business, and network marketing, you must help others. So Jefferson, thanks again for sharing your valuable time with ML Nation. We're grateful to you and we appreciate you for having a positive impact on millions of distributors worldwide. Thank you so much and God bless you.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you.
Hey, ML Nation, Simon Chan with a recap here of a great show from Jefferson Santos. Here's some of the notes I took here. A lot of great stuff. I thought the end was really good. The whole show was good, but a lot of the big nuggets I had was, really good towards the end. He's just dropping tons of nuggets. You can see he has 27 years of experience. I love his advice. It was like, the worst thing about success is a little bit. So true. You're going to go big and go all out, right? And also, I think especially for a lot of you here, direction when you need it is more important than knowledge. Direction, yes. Direction, accountability is way, way more important, because I think a lot of you are watching this right now. You are listening to this. Hey, this is not the first personal development. It's not the first training. But if you're still stuck, you need accountability, the direction where someone guides you step by step. That's why having the upline or even the sideline, right? A mentor or a coach or a network marketing coach or being part of a mastermind group, going to events and asking someone for the advice, like Jefferson talked about events, is so important because it's not just about what you learn, it's the direction. I always go back to my first event. I talk about so many times, well, I don't remember. I had to go because my mentor was going to work with me, but I don't remember anything I learned there at the training room. But outside of it, I learned everything, the direction, the seeing it, right? The leadership there's a saying, leadership is caught, not taught. Seeing my upline mentor just crushing it and working it, even though he was in the hallway. He was making $25,000 a month, which at that time was a lot of money to me, and just still calling leads, finishing the week strong, right? It's like, yes, the direction you need. What's the direction you need? Let me ask you, what's the direction you need? If you need direction, hey, message me. Send me a DM on Facebook or Instagram. I check all the messages. I want to know, hey, what's the direction? How can I help? Whether I can help you or I can point you in the right direction, right? If it's something I can help you, I can actually guide you somewhere else or some other leader where I can connect you with or check out some other resource that will help you. But the direction is more important than the knowledge, depending on where you're at. So, I think we've heard this over 700 plus episodes. One of the key things is the events. Even you've never made it. And as you said that, even if you made it, I thought about by myself, even when I had certain level of success and the times I was stuck is because I felt like I didn't need to go to events, right? And that's when that year my income dropped. You always got to go events because you got to stay close to that campfire. The campfire is what keeps you warm and keeps you engaged. You talk about manipulation versus motivation. That's awesome. And I think another big aha moment is training new distributors. What are the top 10 things you want? Right? Sometimes I remember when I first started, what's your dream and go? I didn't know I just lived in a tiny apartment. I was just like, I want to buy a dream house. But I didn't know what I know about life. I didn't know anything. I didn't have kids, right? But you said, what are 10 things? Oh, okay. I like to live in a bigger apartment, right? That'd be nice. I didn't want to have a job so I could work. I'm more flexible so I could work out when I want to work out. Those are things, right? So that's a great advice on how to train new downlines. Anyway, good stuff here. I'm not going to go through the whole show notes here. I'm sorry. I said go check out the show notes for all the nuggets of wisdom and definitely follow Jefferson Santos. Okay, but what I meant was I'm not going to go through all my notes. But one of the main ones was the $1 million question. I love it. Is go to volunteer somewhere because the people who are volunteers are givers. And normally they're the people who are more open-minded to things like this. But the givers, and even if they decide to do the business, they're going to do a lot more because they're focused on giving instead of taking. And, Jefferson talked about that. If you try to motivate a downline for yourself, that's manipulation, right? If you motivate someone because to help get what they want in life, then it's motivation. So anyway, go out there. Thank you for listening. Great show here. Definitely follow Jefferson Santos. Go to MLMNation.com. And also, hey, one last thing is it takes a lot of my time and also Jefferson's time. These are not free. It costs a lot of our time. Jefferson's time is very valuable. Make sure you follow him and leave us a review. Subscribe to us on YouTube and leave us, subscribe to us on YouTube. Subscribe to us on your podcast channel, wherever you and leave us a review. I read all of them. It will mean a lot. So anyway, this is it. Simon Chan. I'm loud and proud to be part of this amazing profession. Now it's over to you. Go out there, apply what you need, and have a positive impact on someone's life. God bless you all.